Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer 2 Battle Replay. This one is a fun one, basically because it's got Bretonnia in it, and I love Bretonnia. Same reason I love Skaven, just hordes of crap I just think is so fun. Trying to get value out of such crappy units. Like, they always lose one-on-one, but when you have this many, it can help tip the balance, and I love that. I think it's really fun. It means you've got to get every little bit of value out of even that cheap stuff. Nothing's really disposable as it looks. You know, you might think, oh, it'll die in seconds. It's disposable, but it's not always. You know, usually you've still got to get those few little kills with it. Make sure you get the little flank attack, you know, do something useful with them just to help tip it, get that value out of those cheap units. I think it's a lot of fun. And against Dark Elves, which tend to kind of be the opposite in a lot of cases, so it'll be really interesting. So anyway, peasant mobs in the front line, they can help take the initial... they can take the initial blows, which is brilliant. And foot squires, really nice, you know, anti-armor, anti-infantry, pretty handy. So with some armor of their own, I mean, 70 is not the hugest, but it will help against things like bleak swords and even just standard corsairs. You know, struggle against sort of medium to heavy armor. So it's nice to see some foot squires. Also the beast slayers of Baston. So brilliant anti-large and armor piercing. Very nice to have that anchoring your line as well. Huge melee defense at 53. I mean, that's gigantic. You compare that to the 21 of the normal foot squires, and it's sort of obscene. Kind of insane, that. And a little bit more armor as well. Very good anchor. Really like these units. Anyway, in the back line, a load of peasant bone with pox arrows. They've got alright armor piercing, not great. It adds up just because there are so many of them, but they do have poison, which is really nice. You know, lower the effectiveness of things, slow things down, help you control the pace of the battlefield, which is especially nice when you've got a load of cavalry. You want to make sure that you can maximize the speed differential between your cavalry and theirs, so you can get the best engagements whenever you want. So, speaking of cavalry, Knights of the Realm, Grail Knights. Knights of the Realm and Knights of the Realm. So, plenty of just anti-large, but that charge bonus is really good. So it almost doesn't matter what they're charging. As long as you get a decent charge off on something, they're going to suffer just because of that charge bonus. So it's really nice. So as long as you're pulling them in and out of fights, they'll do really well. They'll do really well. Even against sort of armoured units, you know, just that shock damage is very nice. To be able to get some damage in and then sod off again. So I love that. Also, Wardens of Montfort. So very mobile archers here. And also poison, which is nice. So even more poison, and these guys are pretty good. Also here you can see the Fey Enchantress, so nice to have the healing, of course. So she doesn't have regrowth, which I think is quite interesting. Often you see her with regrowth, but I guess he doesn't have the most expensive units. He has one unit of Grail Knights, but most of it is just masses of stuff. So Earthblood overall will probably end up healing a lot more, so probably a wise bet. So here you can see Earthblood. He's also got Shield of Thorns to give physical resist and weapon damage, which is nice. You can overcast that as well for slightly bigger buffs. And Arcane Conduit, Favour of the Fae. I mean, that plus 44 melee attack is huge, and especially when you've got quite a cheap army, giving something an extra 44 melee attack, it's suddenly going to perform way better than you expect. Also here, Chalice of Potions. So that's basically a free Comet to Cassandora that you get to use twice, which is very good. It's very good. It's good against armor as well, and since this lacks a lot of decent AP, I mean, yeah, it's got some, you know, reliable, sort of cost-effective armor piercing, but if foot squires are up against Harganeth Executioners, they're never going to win, are they? They're just going to get outclassed, so having something like the Comet Cassandora just to punch these very slow-moving targets would be very nice. So his opponent here, Cold One Chariots. Oof. Yeah, that's tough. Cold One Chariots. Oh, did I even tell you who sent this in? This is Konosmgr, by the way. Yeah. Sorry, I was too fixated on the fact it was Bretonnia and why I like Bretonnia. Anyway, it's Konosmgr. And he's actually against Hubert J. Farnsworth, who's pretty good. He's pretty good. I've faced him before. He's a good player. So, should be an interesting one. So, Cold One Chariots. Cold One Chariots, great against Bretonnia because they can just run through any of the infantry so easily. Obviously, they've got to watch out for cavalry quite a lot. They can get bogged down by things like Knights of the Realm and all the rest of it. But there's enough other stuff here that they can hide behind. You know, a ton of spearmen here with the Dread Spears. And then much more elite halberd units here. I mean, Blackguard are just so difficult to kill. They are very sturdy. They will tear cavalry apart in prolonged combat. So the Chariot, brilliant, just for little hit and runs, and, you know, supporting the infantry engagements. But because all the infantry engagements are going to be full of spears or halberds, it's going to be very difficult to charge them without getting bogged down by all the stuff that's going to be very cost effective. So I really like that choice. Also, the armor-piercing missile damage is pretty nice too. Really good for whittling down some pretty expensive stuff. and also a ton of Cold One Knights. Cold One Knights, very scary indeed, so anti-large and armor piercing, exactly what you need to kill enemy knights, so absolutely wonderful. And with 90 armor themselves, it's quite difficult to kill them. They have armor piercing, whereas a lot of Bretonnian cav does not. So they are very, very reliable in this matchup. But of course they do rampage, and that can force them into fighting things they don't want to be fighting. So that's what you've got to do to get rid of them, because stats-wise, they're very good. And finally, Dark Shards. Not finally, got Morathi. There's Morathi here too. So she's flying about. Can be very hard to catch her. She's got the usual debuffs, you know, the Heart Render and Dark Sword, and the Enchanting Beauty, just to lower combat stats a huge amount, especially when she's in combat. This one applies in combat, this one is always going, but it's not as big. So both of them will apply when she's in combat. Also, Melkoth slows things down. Great against cavalry, I love that. Also, Power of Darkness to get more magic. Soul Stealer does a ton of work. You know, if you can bait in a big attack, you know, a load of knights charge into one area, hit them with a Soul Stealer, and Soul Stealer sticks to stuff. It's not like you can just run out of the circle and you'll be fine. No. If you're hit by that spell when it's cast, you suffer the effects of it until the time runs out on that spell. So it's very deadly, and that'll heal up Morathi. Also, Wand of Corradon. Corradon? Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyway, that's basically a Doom Bolt that's free. So, speeding things up. So, Golden Chariots, they're zigzagging a bit, and you can see all the cavalry is being baited into this fight. So, a load of cavalry coming in, but the fastest cav are moving right around the outside. And this is quite a nice move. The Wardens of Montfort, they're very quick, so they're going to cut off the retreat. And a lot of people would just charge straight at the chariots, but no, he's going to pen them in. So here we go, and now he's charging the other way. Now, those knights are completely stuck. Not knights, the chariots, completely stuck, which is great. So Morathi is running in to try and help. You can see Grail Knights, Knights of the Realm, Foot Squires. We've got Lord in here, and then a Soul Stealer. And like I said, that sticks. They can't avoid that now. They can't avoid that. Now a load of spears are coming in, and the Cold One Knights are coming in here, and they're going to be able to pin things down too. So the Wardens of Montfort, being the squishiest thing on this side, suddenly didn't seem like that good an idea, because it wasn't able to capitalise and finish off that Cold One chariot. So that's really painful. That is really painful this early on. And over here, look at this, Knights of the Realm on half health already. These guys, Grail Knights, they're a few models down already. That is painful. So more Knights of the Realm are running in, 2 more units to try and deal with Morathi. And she is taking some damage here. You can see one of the Cold One Knights has been wiped out already, which is pretty impressive. A lot of damage on both sides right now. Cold One Chariots, they're just running through some of the other infantry, and you see a lot of the Dark Elf infantry is pushing into the middle. They're not going to bother trying to go as wide as the Bretonnia player. They're just going to push through the middle because they want to break this stuff nice and quickly, get into the back line, cause a mischief. Here you can see the Cold One Chariot did get caught out by the Grail Knights, so Konosmgr was paying attention to his back line. He had some stuff in the front line, but he's able to pull back, knowing that he still had the Beast Slayers here to anchor this. And these Cold One Knights are, now they've rampaged, they're going to go down pretty quickly to the Beast Slayers. But still a load of Blackguard back here, which are going to be a problem. It's anti-large versus anti-large, but Blackguard are far more elite. So here, another Soul Stealer, which is crazy to have another Soul Stealer out this quickly. But here you can see the Foot Squires really struggling against Blackguard, so hit him with a Chalice of Potions. Brilliant. Brilliant. So huge amount of damage to the Blackguard and Agarond with that free spell, and that's really nice. It's good to have something really punchy like that. But when there's 3 units of Blackguard, and you can only take about a third of their health off with a single Chalice of Potions, you suddenly realise what you're up against. It's not going to be easy. So Dark Shards, just great value. Great value can be had from Dark Shards. If they've only got 7 kills now, that could all be against Grail Knights for all we know. They can shoot very elite armoured targets very happily. So they're getting picked off by the Peasant Bowmen. But of course they do have the Silver Shields. So it's kind of tough. It's going to take a while to kill them. But they have to go. They have to go. Although, I feel like, all the Cold One Knights are sort of dealt with. So you could probably afford to just get some Knights around and have the Pox Arrows focus on these targets that are more sort of immediately painful. But anyway, here you can see Earthblood has been used on these units, which is nice. Only some of them though. Favour of the Fae on the Grail Knights again, giving them 83 melee attack, which is pretty wonderful. But these Blackguard are just unrelenting. Look at that. There's still Blackguard everywhere. Luckily the Beast Slayers of Baston, they're going to put up a good fight against these guys. They're going to put up a good fight. So they're going to be, in a scrum for a while, I think. But anyway, here you can see Peasant Bowmen. Haven't lost a lot of models, but they're going to run away soon by the looks of it. Nope, they're back in the fight. They're back in the fight. Fae Enchantress. It looks like, the Wand of Corradon has been used, so we're going to see a Doom Bolt. So the Fae Enchantress is going to run. because you can dodge that. You can dodge that, and she's managed to. So she's going to run off, try and help break these dark shards, now that Morathi is busy over here trying to help deal with these Knights of the Realm. But the fact that it's only really cavalry left to stem the tide of Blackguard is pretty scary. It is pretty scary. Pretty scary indeed. What might be a nice idea is... Oh, well, that sort of happened, actually. Yeah, Knights of the Realm ran in to help relieve the Beast Slayers of Baston over here, which I think is a good move. You know, attack where you reckon you can help an engagement, free up some of your infantry that, you know, are sort of close to losing. You know, use your cavalry just to smash what they're fighting and try and get things in. Like these Dread Spears, yeah, they can get taken out very quickly, and that'll help give the numbers advantage. Certainly when some of these units start rallying. Anyway, another potion of, chalice of potions there for that Comet of Cassandora, doing a nice big chunk of damage to those Blackguard and Agarond. I mean, every little helps at this point. So here, Fey Enchantress running in, and another Soul Stealer. And that's on basically the last of the Knights. That's pretty much all the value that Bretonnia has left, and Soul Stealer hit all of them. But what are the chances of another Soul Stealer? That's 3. 3 Soul Stealers have been used 5 minutes into the battle. That's sort of obscene. So I'm thinking Morathi must have started with a lot of Winds of Magic in this battle, because that is terrifying. That is terrifying amounts of magic. So anyway, Fey Enchantress getting a little bit bogged down. She did have so much support in here, but they've all ditched it. They've all ditched it, which is very sad. Blackguard and Agarond, though, they are broken, which is nice. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I suddenly saw that flag, and yeah, okay, anyway. They've broken. Dread Spears are running in, but Foot Squires and Peasants are running in. More Foot Squires are running in. The Beast Slayers of Baston are able to keep the healthiest unit of Blackguard busy for a long time. So vital, these guys. They're the only thing that managed to anchor that front line. Everything else crumbled so quickly. Even the Foot Squires ran away pretty damn fast. But anyway, here you can see the Wands of Montfort have returned. They have returned. And they got plenty of ammunition left. Not a lot of models, so their volleys aren't exactly going to be the most dense, but they can help. They can certainly help. So a load of arrow fire now on the Blackguard and Agarond. Blackguard very slow. Very slow. So they try and go, oh, I don't want to get shot. Try and stop one of the archers. They're just going to run away, and the other archers can keep shooting at them. You know, it's going to be a very tough situation for them at this point. I mean, ammunition is starting to run low, though, so they might just be able to take all the arrows. So now all these Foot Squires have run in. They've got a slightly better charge bonus at 22 compared to the 18, so charging in like that, it does help them more than it helps the enemy. And Beast Slayers finally starting to go down, but they've kept so many Blackguards so busy for so long that it's been absolutely vital. So the Fey Enchantress has managed to rally, thank Christ. That would have been bad if she'd run. And Morathi is being harassed quite a bit by the Wardens of Montfort. So she is trying to get in this fight, deal with these peasant bowmen, but she's kind of a sitting duck there. Any volley is going to hit her pretty easily. So you can see she's taken some good damage there. So that's tough. Suddenly very tough for Morathi, who seem to have the advantage through most of this battle. At this point, there's still so many archers left, and a lot of slow-moving targets, that really Morathi has to get a lot of work done. And she has to get it done soon while this stuff is distracted. But it's going to be very difficult for her, because once all these guys stop being a threat, because it does look like all this stuff is getting broken, she'll have to jump down on one unit of peasant archers, try and break it so she doesn't get shot. You know, she can only bob and weave in the air. If she jumps down and attacks something, all the other archers are going to turn around and start shooting her. And she's going to take a lot of that damage. She's not going to be able to break each unit quick enough, because she's just not that good in a fight. She doesn't have the armor to stand up against the arrow fire. So that's very tough. And she's already used 3 Soul Stealers. The chance of her getting a 4th one in to be able to heal herself up very well seems a bit unlikely. And everything's so spread out, I can't really see a good place to cast one. Maybe over here? Maybe here? Just now? But nope, suddenly that would be a bad idea again. See, it's not easy. It's not easy. Over here, though, Dread Spears have been chasing, and now this is a clever idea. This is sort of her only chance. All this stuff is broken. So, with the Dread Spears moving in, charge in with Morathi, hopefully get rid of these peasant bowmen, and that frees up the Dread Spears. But unfortunately, the Wardens of Montfort are just so quick just to run around that they can immediately react and get a volley into Morathi. And that took 500 health off of her. That took 500 health. So she's broken. And army losses. No, army losses doesn't hit. He just calls it quits because he knows that this can't be defeated by these guys. Just wouldn't work. Just wouldn't work. So that's a Pyrrhic victory. Wonderful fight, though. That was tense. It looked so bad for Bretonnia at one point. You know, a load of that cavalry took so much damage initially. Those Soul Stealers, just again and again. It was horrible. You know, those knights were being torn apart. Absolutely torn apart. But somehow, Beast Slayers kept fighting. The Peasant Bowmen were able to get really good damage into very expensive things that did very well for themselves. 127, 98, and 252 kills. Pretty huge. But I guess 182. Wow, that's impressive for Dreadspears. But then most of it's peasants. So is it really that good? You know, it's tough to call. Anyway, I think Cold One Chariot was used pretty damn well, but there was nothing that could retaliate at the end. I think the Cold War Chariot's great in this because you can always bring it back to somewhere safe that forces your opponent into a bad engagement, right? You can just keep doing that. And if you're not charging in, then yeah, just shoot things. Just shoot at expensive things with those armor-piercing missiles and wait for somewhere to open up that you know you can easily run into. Because that entire left flank, I think, was pretty open for the Cold One Chariots. There was no cavalry nearby, and you would have had ages if you saw the cavalry, you know, moving up and around to deal with them. So I don't think you need to jump on top of the archers quite that quickly. I think that's one thing. I think Cold One Chariot probably could have even used better. Unfortunately. That first engagement, though, worked out great. It was beautiful bait. Absolutely beautiful bait. And these Cold One Knights did a fine job of, you know, reacting to all of that and charging in, getting good surrounds on things. But unfortunately, against such huge archer fire, that stuff's going to rampage very fast. And once it's rampaged, well, then it's going to be stuck fighting things like the Beast Slayers that were right in the middle where that engagement happened. So it's very tough. It's very tough. But this was so evenly matched and absolutely superb plays by both of them here. So, yeah, fantastic. Loved it. So guys, if you enjoyed this as much as I clearly did, then please do comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.